This airline and helicopter crash or incident is suspicious as. So, guys, obviously, none of this is sitting well with anybody. There are people, guys, who are not even in the conspiracy theory community like we are. And everybody that I know is going, something doesn't feel right about this. Just about everybody, excuse me. There are a lot of people who will look at it as, well, it was an accident. And a lot of us are going, no way this was an accident. There's no way that a Black Hawk, from what's being reported, crashed into a Delta airline plane and nobody seen this coming. Now, air traffic control apparently reached out or contacted the helicopter, Black Hawk helicopter, and asked them if they knew, if they had eyes on the incoming plane. And there was no response, and then the collision happened. Now, supposedly there's a video of another angle that I didn't see, and it looked like the helicopter did this on purpose. You read the articles now, currently right now. Today is the 28th, I think, or the 29th, excuse me, the 30th. Today's the 30th. And there's a lot of suspicions with this. And as it states right now, the airline crashed into the helicopter. The more maneuverable of the two is the helicopter. That thing can move on a dime, right? I mean, it's pretty heavy, it's fairly big, but it does move a lot better and a lot faster than an airline can at any given time of the day. And I don't know much about helicopters. I know enough about airplanes, excuse me. I went to aviation high school when I was a kid, so I know the gist of how planes operate and move and all those other good things. As far as Black Hawks go, I know that they have good radar, their detection system is good, and so is an airplane. So for these two to get into a collision, and an air traffic controller saw it on his radar screen and go, that looks like they're going to collide. And then 30 seconds before they collide, reaches out to them, and then there's no response. Now, that is the article I read earlier this morning, the 30th. The way the new video that's out now, it looks like that the helicopter stalled or slammed into it. It was one of the two. But it definitely looked like it was pilot error in the Black Hawk. But they're going to blame, the military will always blame the outside entity, whatever that might be. So there's just too many things on it. Now, obviously, a lot of people are waiting for the list to see who was on that airline. I find that to be interesting because they're not focusing on anybody else on the airline other than the kids, the figure ice skating team that was on that plane. That is all you're seeing right now on the internet. They're like, these kids were on it, they were Russian, Chinese, it looked like Chinese, and American figure skating at some camp in Wichita. Who the fuck goes to Wichita? Forget it. Point is that they're shifting focus on these kids. Somebody else had to have been on that plane, or this was legitimately an accident, or this was a suicide. This was somebody in a helicopter going, fuck it. There is that. There's always that. Maybe it wasn't deliberately done in the sense that there was somebody on a plane and they had to get rid of them. Maybe this was a helicopter pilot that was like, fuck it, and did that. So, needless to say, there are too many red flags with this, especially the way the articles are starting to change now. They went from the helicopter not responding to the helicopter responding back. They went from the air traffic controller saw collision to he didn't see it. So, like, the stories are starting to change, as they always will, because when more information starts to come out, the United States government will change their storyline to fit their narrative that they want to get out there. So just keep that in mind. Sometimes the first story is normally the true story, but as the story starts to unfold, the narrative starts to change. I always go back to this story of Flight 93. Flight 93 was taken out of the skies by the Navy, if I'm not mistaken. Not the Air Force, the Navy. And the fighter jets blew them out of the sky. With that, because the media ran with the story of the people on the plane taking the plane back, which I don't doubt that they were trying to do, the media took it a step ahead and said that they crashed the plane. The people crashed the plane. No dice. Not a million, not in a million years. I thought that story was wrong. So anyway, I ran into somebody that said that they were there when it happened, and I pretty much called the guy a liar to his face, and he fucking got pissed at me and walked away, and I never saw him again. But I spoke to somebody who was there in air traffic control, and he told me a different story. So I don't know who to believe. And this guy was a general. This guy supposedly was a general. But I'm like, but even a general would lie for the United States Air Force. But again, he's a general. Why would he lie to me? That being said, guys, you got to be careful of the stories we hear when they first come out. I mean, when they start getting days in, because yeah, though you're finding out more information, they could. I'm not saying they always do. They could change the narrative around just a little bit to fit their narrative, and that's the United States military. The United States military wants nothing to do with that pilot being somebody that said, "Fuck it, I'm going to slam into this plane." They don't want that, because if they do, that is a major lawsuit, and they will lose hands down. So they're definitely going to. It's going to be pilot error on the Delta airline flight, or there's going to be some mechanical malfunction of some kind. Now again, this is January 30th. Don't know what the story is going to look like tomorrow, 31st, or February 1st. But as of today, it's starting to change in way of the Delta pilot screwing us up. Oh, I'm sorry, the Delta plane crashing into them. So we will wait and see where this is going to go. But this story is super suspicious. Nothing makes sense, and we'll see where this goes. That's all I can say. Other than that, guys, this is the Angry Prepper. Thank you for watching the Angry Truth channel.